Welcome to another episode of the Metal Roundup, the final episode, in fact, in the year 2024, which is the only year that we've existed. Our first ever episode of this podcast was back in January of 2024. And in this episode, we're going to talk about our picks for kind of the top 5 albums of the year, maybe the best songs of the year, bangers of the year, best metal moments of the year, perhaps. But before then, just to reflect for a moment here on what has been this year of the Metal Roundup, this podcast we created after meeting together at the Wembley Arena gig for Sleep Token. And now we're having conversations and it feels normal. I feel like you're just people I see every couple of weeks now. It's very odd, but wonderful.
Yeah, lads, cheers.
Yes.
Come on.
Cheers.
It's pretty much like
Big
an
cheers.
anniversary now.
Yes,
1 year.
it is. Yeah.
To you fellas and to the lovely people watching as well. Cheers to you lot as well. If you have a little
Absolutely,
drink.
yeah.
Happy New Year. Happy Christmas. We don't really know what date this is going to go out. Maybe right before the New Year.
Yeah,
Maybe
probably.
New Year's Eve. That might be a nice little touch.
Maybe.
But yeah, shout out to you lot for the continued support. The podcast has been going from strength to strength. So
Hit the subscribe.
That's the earliest we've ever said that. So it's right,
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
we've sold out. It's over.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
in.
No, we got a
Oh,
good
it's
episode.
joy. It's been a joy. I've had such a like, and we said this before we even started this thing. If nothing else, it'll just be great to chat about music with each other and hang out, which has been the wonderful part of it. And then able to build on top of that, talking to some amazing guests and all kinds of interesting things have happened throughout the year as well.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked for next year and what could be possible. You know, we've had some amazing people on, and I think next year I'm just so confident it's going to be really exciting for some of the guests I think that we're going to end up chatting to. So pretty stoked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, I think I think the audience should know how like genuinely we weren't expecting the feedback or like even to be at like 1,400 subs right now and whatever it'll be when this episode actually airs. Like I thought it would be a decent amount of viewership because we have a combined pretty big audience, but I think not just the viewership but the actual like feedback has been pretty mind-blowing. I think I speak for all of us when I say that it's been like genuinely quite shocking for something that was just like discussed with Steve's brother around a few beers in London when we went to see Sleep Token. It was kind of like you know, we're probably overthinking it in certain parts, and then it was just like, okay, let's just do it. And then it's just been so fun to do every couple of weeks, and hopefully in 2025 we can commit to a more, I'd say, consistent schedule. We've been pretty
It's
consistent.
pretty
but it's
consistent,
not-
actually.
It's been consistent, but it's not been like it's been like kind of monthly. But I think we could up the output a little bit more, and I think we do kind of plan on, and we have been doing over the last couple of weeks a little bit more consistent. You know.
I'm glad that you brought up Steve's brother because, like, yeah, we all met up in the UK. For people that are like brand new to what we're doing here, yeah, we met up in the UK for the Sleep Token show, and then yeah, Steve's brother was just listening to us talking, and he was saying like, you guys should have a podcast together, kind of thing. Like for me, I was like a little bit like indifferent. Like, would people really want to watch that? Like, don't get me wrong, I would love to do something like this, but like, is the audience there, kind of thing? And the fact that we pull in like, double, triple the amount of views than our subscriber count, like that's awesome. Like, yeah, so I agree with Drew. Shout out to you guys for watching. Cheers, actually, instead, because we're having a couple brewskis celebrating the end of the year.
Absolutely, yeah.
100%.
It's cool. It's like, because I know Steve has his like, for me, you guys, weirdly enough, you guys are my colleagues, like my work colleagues, because me and Burp don't work like full-time jobs. Well, I guess we do, but we don't work like in the corporate environment.
This is your Christmas party.
This
is the Christmas
my
party.
Yeah, so this is on the Metal Roundup. You.
Should we do some shots?
Oh god.
I'm joking.
Yeah, actually, I would, but I just don't have anything.
You would? Oh wow, you're so Irish.
Come on, man. Of course.
Look, it's 20 to 11 at night in the UK and Ireland. Yeah, we're in
Don't
peak
threaten me with a
shot
good time
drinking.
on a Tuesday night. All right. Come on, it's the 17th. We have to specify before we get into this as well. It's the 17th of December.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be
17th.
talking about some like things, album of the year, song, the very divisive topics for a lot of people, as I've seen so far with my picks for my videos I've done for the end of the year.
It's all based on real evidence, though.
Yes, exactly. This
But
is all
subject to
objectively
change.
it's objective. This is the album of the year. Now we're gonna discuss a few different things. So just to put it out there, it's the 17th. If you think this might be different to how our own personal videos end up on our channel, so just disclaimer.
Also, if something wild happens in the metal scene between now and when this goes out, you're like, why are they talking about this whole thing? It's because we are living in the 17th of December land. We don't know
Yes.
whatever might happen in the next couple weeks. Probably not much because it's gonna be the Christmas break and the rest. People don't tend to release a lot of music, but who knows? Metal scene is
Sleep
a lot of
Token,
surprises.
Bring Me the Horizon, do a collab and a Christmas song.
There we go. Why the Metal Roundup not talking about that?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think part of the reason why this podcast has ended up having the lovely response that it has is the same thing about reaction channels in the metal universe. Most people don't have a bunch of close friends in their towns in the real world to talk to about metal. So they go to reaction channels, and that's kind of where the discourse can happen, or in your Discord servers. And this is the same sort of thing. It's conversation about this kind of niche music that we all mutually love, and hopefully people feel like they're kind of in the conversation with us. That's the kind of the goal, I think, from my standpoint. So yeah, it's been a joy. And now on to the business end of things. Do we want to start with maybe the biggest one, album of the year, perhaps?
Oh,
can we start with the album of the year?
That's so big. No, I think you gotta wait. You gotta wait for
Did
that
you not learn
one.
anything from 2024, the year of the edge? Come on, Steve.
Yeah, you gotta edge it out. You gotta edge it out, bro.
All right. What? Let's start with then.
Banger.
Perhaps okay, banger of the year. But then is that not teasing it before song of the year?
We did not plan this out, guys.
We didn't plan it out. As you can
All right.
see, it's a Christmas party. Come on, give us a break. We're off the clock here.
Let's do it. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Guys are
Banger
talking
of the year. We each need to come up with our top 5 bangers of the year. And the question is, will we go individually in our 1 to 5s and talk through them? Or we each do a 5 and each
5,
do a 4?
then 4, then 3. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
I'm ready.
Right.
So we can roast each other's picks.
Wait, so we have to do 5 bangers of the year and then 5 songs of the year.
Yeah.
Get ready,
Those
Drew.
are 2 different things.
Fuck,
Those
okay,
are 2
you just go
different
first
things.
then. I'll go last.
Here's how I define banger of the year, because maybe this is an important factor, is consensus on what this actually means, although you can decide your own thing. For me, a banger is a song that doesn't really lose its heat from start to finish. So usually that means that some song could be a fucking banger. It's high energy, it's catchy, or it's punchy, it's heavy, it's satisfying from start to finish. But if it has like a long lull in the middle, as a broad example, The Summoning by Sleep Token, that song bangs for a lot of it, but not because it's got this long instrumental bit in the middle. I then wouldn't call it a banger of the year because it's not like high energy from start to finish, is my take on that. Where would you disagree?
My banger would be a song that's just like a little bit more poppy, maybe 2 to 3 minutes long, just a condensed, fun track that you can just constantly listen to. It has a lot of replay value. That's mine.
Okay. So like The Orphan Breed from last year was, I think, your banger of the year because it is relentless by your definition.
Correct.
Well, by Burb's definition, it's slightly different. It can kind of just be.
Mine's a little bit more fun. Mine's a little bit more like radio. It's a little. That's my definition. So
I have a bit of wiggle room there to pick banger of the year. I'll combine both of your definitions to make.
I already have a pick. I'm already with not like banger of the year, but I already have a good number 5. That's going to.
I've just changed my 5 based on what Burb said.
I wonder if we have the same one now.
Shit.
My number 5 banger of the year is going to be Beartooth Attention. Now, I love that song. It is very simple. Okay, it is a simple pop rock song, but I cannot get enough of it. I could loop that song on its own quite happily. It brings this energy at the start, this sort of positive and energetic. It doesn't let it go for the whole thing, and you can easily sing along with it. It's got a fun little guitar solo moment. I just think that is a glorious, fun, high energy song from start to finish, and it is beaten out by other one, which was going to be Spirit Box Soft Spine, which is a banger, but not quite as satisfying for me as, say, Attention by Beartooth.
I hear you. That song gets played all the time at my gym. So
Attention?
I did not like it. I wouldn't say I did not like it, but I mean, like in comparison to The Surface, which I like most of that record, I'm like, it's all right. But then they're playing that song at the gym, and like I'm literally on the treadmill and like watching the music video. I'm just like, yeah, this song bangs. Like, no, it's a fun song, man. Drew's like,
I'm so stressed here, lads. You don't even understand because I can't differentiate. I have my top 10 list for my best song of the year. Like I can give you 10 songs, but if I use those for my banger, like I've kind of put them in the same category, because it's like the reason it's my song of the year is because it's a banger, so I'm like
banger. It could be more like guilty pleasure maybe a little bit too. So
That's a
That's
whole different thing.
list.
Okay,
We're just-
let me
we
start
fucked
with
this
my
already.
number 5. How about this? So my number
Go.
5 is a controversial pick, but I don't care because it's one of the my most listened to songs on Spotify. On reverse, All My Life. That song
Oh,
is
fuck.
so fun.
Wow.
It is so hooky, and people can hate on Flying Reverse and Ronnie Radke and tell me like, oh, Burb likes Flying Reverse songs. I don't care. That song is so
It's a great
wicked fun.
choice. It's
Yeah,
a great
I
choice.
love the chorus in that song, man. I think it's Flying Reverse dropped 2 really good songs this year, in my opinion. All My Life and Ronald.
Mm.
I think they're
Yeah.
both bangers in their own ways. But yeah,
All My Life is one of my favorite songs of the year. It's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, I ended up with Bad Guy in my top 100 songs for 2024, and I'm getting abused for that one because it's arguably the cringiest song on like a quite,
It grows.
arguably
it's-
cringe album.
So-
but it's a good album, but it's just obviously.
So it's your
cringe
number
amounts.
5?
No, Jesus, no. I couldn't willingly do that to myself again. Okay, I'm kind of weirdly looking at it. Like I have my best songs, so if I don't want to choose any songs from the top 5 songs, so maybe I'll look at like from 10 to 6 because I kind of just see them as the same thing. So for my number 5, I'll go with Van, Bad Omens and Poppy.
Okay.
I'll put that at number 5.
Good
This is
shout,
not
good
planned,
shout.
by the way, but I just see it there and I'm like, okay, that's number 5.
Mm.
Solid, but we can do better.
Good. No, it's good. That's a very satisfying song. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. That was an early favorite in the year. It was kind of a quiet
Yes.
start of the year. That one really spoke.
That one was really big for me, but honestly, on further plays, kind of lost a bit of heat. But in saying that, when it first dropped, I really, really enjoyed it for a couple like weeks, and then yeah.
Fair. I
but
don't
yeah.
disagree with any of these choices.
Yeah.
These are good. These are bangers.
Okay, let's go.
My 4th place banger of the year is on the heavier side of things. 156 Silence with Target Acquired. So, not my
Ooh.
favorite song off the album, but Target Acquired, I think, brings heat from start to finish and is just like heavy and grinding and amazing. And there's this great scream vocal moment towards the end of the song where he just like re-engages and there's a huge intake of breath and he goes again. That's the closest thing I think this year for me to an Orphan Breed where it's just absolute mayhem, which I enjoyed.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Good pick. I'm gonna throw a curveball and do something that's not metal, but one of my favorite non-metal songs is "Baby No Money" with It Boy.
I don't know it at all.
Drew, do you know "Baby No Money"?
Was this included in your your
Yeah,
rap
it's
or
about-
something?
yeah,
I
it's
remember
number
I know the
16.
name. How could I
It-
forget the name?
He's really popular off like TikTok and do you know Young Gravy?
Yeah.
No, I'm not
They're
cool.
both- Yeah, you're not cool
this
at all,
is-
Steve.
Yeah.
Or
This
yeah,
is like the guy who loves MILFs, right?
yeah, that's
kind of
Young
that would be
Gravy.
like his-
Yeah, that's
that would be
Young
like
Gravy.
his genre. Like that's how I describe his music, like the MILF Slayer.
They're just these guys,
Can I say that?
pretty much.
I think it's an accurate description if you know I know Steve's probably like what's going on right now, but like
Yep.
yeah, I would say he's probably a self-proclaimed MILF Slayer. It is.
That's Young Gravy, but Baby No Money. I saw him live actually like 2 years ago. It was a fun show, but like this guy is just a Canadian rapper. He's very goofy. If I can do some of the lyrics to It Boy, it goes, "I am HIM, the Gen Z Eminem. That's me. That's right. That's me. That's right."
Oh, I could have done a little Burb a cappella for that one. but-
Shakespeare over here. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
I can't
God.
comment on it. I don't know
We
the
derailed the
track.
banger of the year list already. What's just happened?
Blame it
Drew,
on my first beer.
Oh,
What's
my
your 4,
God.
Drew?
4. Is it on to me already? Jesus, I just went. Okay. I'm just looking at my best songs of the year. I have like 20, 30. I'm going to put The Dark Chemicals at number 4.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't heard
like
it.
that song. Really good chorus, heavy throughout, fun vocals. It was their first song ever. It was in my chorus of the year as well. It was I think it was my number 5 chorus of the year. Really, really enjoyed it.
Decent.
Yeah. Off the Dome, I'd put The Dark Chemicals there. I listened to it a lot this year. It was one of my most played tracks. So yeah,
I don't think I've listened to it.
you got to check. I think I described it before as
Yeah.
combination of like Antimatter by Silent Planet and Collider. It's like it's not really like a Collider chorus, but it has a big chorus like Collider, and then the riffing and the verses are similar to Antimatter. industrial.
They're
Nice.
showing promise for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, decent track. Good pick.
Yeah.
Alrighty, on to number 3, banger of the year. People will be shocked. This is not my number 1. But Bill Murray, Better Hell is my 3rd place banger of the year because I love it. It is jaunty as fuck. It has some heat to it, but there's also, I think, too many lull, chilled, kind of gentle moments in it for it to be a total banger from start to finish. It's definitely very high on my song of the year list, but for banger of the year, it's not as packing as much heat as my top 2.
Interesting. Good pick. I was just interesting to find the lulls. I'm like, really, that song has lulls? I'm like, nah, that's a point A to point B banger in my opinion. Well, I should say that this list that I'm making is not a serious list with bangers. I'm just kind of like fun songs, but to get a little bit more niche with my pick here, my 3rd is going to be Bayside with Castaway. So Bayside,
wow.
yeah, they're like a punk rock band with like really good riffs, great vocals. They actually had a recent collab with Ice Nine Kills on their album too. It's probably one of the most overlooked albums of the year, and the song Castaway, so good, man. It just got a great chorus, awesome guitar solo, a great bridge with like these like choir chants, and like it's just a high energy punk rock track. Yeah, it's
nice. I'm gonna have to check that out. Drew, number 3.
Is it me? How is it me again? I just went.
That's how numbers work, Drew.
I didn't realize you even went, Steve. Oh fuck. Okay, is this number 3, right?
Yeah.
Shit. I'm torn between 2. I'm gonna go with Night versus Plague Dancer.
Banger.
It just
a banger.
Energy.
Just a banger.
Just straight up riffs, great moments. Doesn't really stop. I'm happy with that. Number 3.
I don't hate it.
So good.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, number 2 for me is Wind Waker with a song called Tabula Rasa. I have looped that individual song so long. It's got this like dark sort of but fun, jaunty like rap rock thing, and I just think it's epic. And after the first chorus, there's this amazing, almost like ride cymbal pinging that happens. I just think that song gives me energy from start to finish, and it makes me feel invincible. I think it's an incredible song.
Yeah, I'm seeing your face in the thumbnail. So I actually checked out that song. I checked out that album too. I couldn't get into it, man. Maybe I got to listen to it again, but maybe I was being a little bit too hypercritical with that one. But yeah, that's an interesting choice. So I guess my turn now for number 2. It is Bill Murray with Better Hell.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my number 2. That song's like one of my favorite songs of the year. It's so incredibly catchy. It's so fun. It's the same reasons that Steve said, but I don't find that there's lull moments. I think it's just heat, start to finish.
Right. Number 2.
I'll go with, I'm kind of torn between a few, but they're going to be my top slots. So I'll go with Pulling Teeth by House of Protection.
Good pick.
Oh, you got some good picks for.
Yeah, I think that was a very late addition to a lot of my playlist, my like songs of the year and stuff. I kind of forgot about this song, and then I went back and listened to it, and even with the video and shit, and I was like, this is a banger. So
It
yeah,
is.
number two.
Good choice. And now we're on to our top banger of the year.
What you got, Steve?
My banger of the year that I think, and again, it doesn't, my definition is not necessarily jaunty, but just bangs, packs heat from start to finish, a la The Orphan Breed by Alt. And just there's no let up. And it's just like, fucking fuck, is how I feel when I listen to it. It is Suffocate by Knocked Loose featuring Poppy. I think that's the banger of the year. I think that is just an absolute onslaught of satisfying, heavy energy from start to finish. And if that doesn't get you hyped, what's going on in your world?
It's one of the most pinnacle songs of the year for the scene. It's monumental. And the reggaeton breakdown is so simple, but man, that works. Bring other genres into a scene of metal music that were so normalized with like the same gent guitars and stuff. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great pick. My number 1 is just my most listened to song of the year, and I was surprised, but
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. No, dude, I cannot do Taylor Swift. But if she sounded like this, I'd definitely listen to her. This is The Home Team with Bragg. Yeah, apparently I listened to a lot of the home team. They dropped a lot of music like in January or like earlier in this year, so it makes sense with my Spotify. But like, dude, the Bragg song is just so wicked fun. It's gents pop. Like, I don't know. I love the production.
Actually, sorry, bro, I've been listening to that song a little bit as well because I think you know Lone Wolf, who does be in your Twitch streams. Yeah, Lone Wolf, I think recommended I listen to that because it was your number one, and I've been listening to it now as well. So yeah.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, it's a solid song, man.
Oh,
Really catchy. Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I think it actually won my request stream. It got my highest rating. So
yeah.
sick song.
I know. At first, I'm like, I like this, but who is this guy? He's got like this long hair and this mustache, and he's smiling and dancing all in his music videos.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's all over my feed. And then eventually it just kind of clicked. I'm like, dude, the home team, they got Issues. I don't know how familiar you are with Issues, but Skylar, who's like the bassist and singer and production guy, started actually helping produce the new home team stuff. So he's adding a lot of funk. And that's what's been missing in their music.
They've got something. They've got some gold.
Yeah.
And there's moments where I love it. Bragg, I think, is a fucking great song.
Yeah,
Loud?
Is that be in a bad mood?
Loud is good too.
Loud's good.
Hell's good. Like the album was all right in my opinion. When it dropped, I'm like, oh damn! Like I was hoping for more. But Bragg is a fucking banger.
They've got something. I think their next record, I have high hopes for it.
Yeah,
I think they'll follow the right path.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Good choice, Drew.
Yeah. I have my pick, but just to touch on yours, Steve, Suffocate was my breakdown of the year. I have Suffocate as like my official breakdown of the year. So there's
I'd agree with that.
Spoiler, whatever. I would nearly put it at banger of the year as well, but we'll wait until song of the year for me to discuss it again. But I will say banger of the year for me is Bring Me the Horizon Kool-Aid. Just one of the earliest releases of the year that I recall reacting to. It's just so catchy. It's heavy as well. It's chaotic. One of my favorite songs on the new album, and yeah, it was so good live as well. So yeah, that's my banger of the year.
It's a perfect Bring Me song.
Yeah, really, really solid.
That's really good. My 7th most listened to song on Spotify.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Really, really good.
That is great. All right, good stuff, folks. Now, should we do a quick fire round of song of the year? Or I guess he doesn't do quick fire. You can.
Well,
Should we get
what are the categories that we have to touch on? Because I feel like it's just important to get them in the right order.
To go, we've got song of the year. We could do EPs of the year, top 5.
I think we should go EP because I feel like that's not like the most popular category. So we do that one first. I don't think I can have like 5
EP of the year. I've listened to 5 in total, so this is my worst to first, basically. In 5, I have Counterparts, Haven't Let Them Die. I just did like it's got some great heavy moments, but the whole thing is kind of for me the same heavy moments. So I didn't really think it was that interesting. I found it quite tiring over time, but I like the potential of it, but I didn't fully gel with it in all. But that's my 5.
Okay.
Burp.
All right. I don't think I fucking have 5 ready to go, but maybe we could have done 3 for the EP.
Oh, sorry. Let's do 3. Okay.
We do 3, Burb. Do you? I
have my list ready, but I just like what Steve said. I'm like, you are right about Counterparts. Like,
okay.
Like you,
I can probably put together 5.
All right.
Do you need to start over with 3?
No, let's do 5. Drew can
5.
figure it out. He's a professional.
Okay, Drew, you figured it out. I got my number 5. But damn, I like what you said, Steve, because you're not wrong about the Counterpart stuff, but it does fucking hit. My number 5 is House of Protection with Galore.
I fucked up my list. I forgot about that EP entirely.
Yeah, but now I'm thinking maybe it should be higher because like there's variety. Variety is what I look for on these records. It's what I look for. I need variety, man, and House of Protection has that in spades.
Shit, how did I forget about that? God,
Fuse, Pulling Teeth, Being One, Banger City.
I have to change my list.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking I might have to change my list. I feel like I could actually switch Counterparts with that one.
I can't believe I suggested EP of the year, and now look at me. I'm fucked. Okay, right. I mean, I'm afraid I'm gonna miss something now because I'm panicking. But I'm gonna put. Fuck. Oh shit. I don't think I have 5 lads. I've definitely listened to more than 5 EPs this year, but I don't have an EP list prepared. So I don't know if I can do 5 right now. I can
do you have 3 ready?
I have 3 ready.
Okay,
yes.
Then just pick 2 others to talk about. It's that simple.
Yeah. When it comes.
I'm ready. I'm gonna cry.
Maybe when we say ours, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, that was good."
Okay.
While
how
you're
about,
thinking,
how about you guys do your lists first, and then I'll go. I have like 3 that I quite enjoyed.
listen, if you want, we can go back and forth on our 5s and 4s, and it'll come to you when it's 3.
There we go. He's found it.
Yeah, I found one, but I'm still fucked.
While you're
Steve,
thinking of that, I'm gonna
Yeah.
forget
'cause I
counterparts.
don't have
Now that
anything ready.
now that my memory's been jogged that House of Protection had an EP, my number 5 will actually be Rev Noir: The Pact. I thought that was a decent EP. Oh, Bert forgot it.
I forgot that was an EP because I just heard all the singles individually.
Same, dude. I forgot.
Guys,
that was
we're professionals at this.
Yeah. Okay.
Our
can I
lists
just-
are final when you watch our videos.
Yeah, please.
This is us
why we
all the
have to do
time when we're
disclaimer.
working.
Yes, this is the disclaimer. And this is why it's so hard to do these end of year videos. Okay, can I just name fucking as many EPs as possible and just try and order them? I'll do, of the ones I can think of, I'll put, I'm gonna put, oh my god, this is sick. I hate myself for not preparing this. I'll put Counterparts in as my lowest.
5, okay.
Yeah, but I'll have to make 4, and then because I know kind of what my 3 are, I think, but I just need to find an extra one. So count me in. Put Counterparts at 5 for me, please.
Okay.
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 And
All right,
so
yeah.
your number 4 was Rev Noir. Mine is
Mine's gonna. My number 4 is now different. My
Oh,
5
come
is
on.
now Rev Noir because counterpart, because House of Protection has to go in there. So my 5 is now Rev Noir. My 4 is Gore, A Bud That Never Blooms.
okay. That's
I
fair.
enjoyed that
I still haven't
EP.
listened to it, so
So, viewers, we're currently making our lists on the spot. We're currently working. It's like we're making content right now.
yeah.
So, my number 4 is also Gore, A Bud That Never Blooms.
Oh, right on, right on.
Yeah,
yes.
very, very good. Very good. I variety,
Yep.
great
A
vocals.
debut EP.
Debut.
Very good for a debut. My
Yeah.
God.
And we had Haley on the podcast too. Go watch it, guys. It's a good podcast.
Also true. Drew.
Mine is also Gore.
There you
Oh,
go.
actually,
You see how hard
hold
it is.
on. Hold on, wait. Can I make it? I'm gonna swap things and grab. My number 5 is Throne, Excessive Guilt. Okay.
That's not an EP.
That was an
That's
album.
That's an album.
Come on, it's like 10 minutes long. It's an EP.
I
Let's just-
know.
can we call it an EP, please? Can we just please?
No.
I thought I
The
had
same
something.
argument
Okay.
could be said about Kublai Khan too.
Oh, that's an album as well. Fuck, I didn't even think of that. I'm just scrolling through my Patreon right now, just like looking at what I've listened to this year. Lads, I'm fucked here. I'm sorry. I have 3. If you want a top 3, I'll give it to
Yeah.
you.
Okay,
right
we're
now.
gonna skip Drew. Let's go to the 3. My number 3 now is North Lane Mirror's Edge.
Nice.
Solid fucking great EP. The more I've listened to it, the more I've liked it. And actually, the ones that weren't singles, the more you hear them, and if you hear them live, they connect for me in a way that initially they might not have. That is a fucking good EP from North Lane. I think.
You know what I noticed about that EP was like listening to all these songs, trying to come up with my list. I listened to the North Lane EP. I'm like, the production does feel a little hollow, and people complained about the sound of the production. I'm like, I get it now. Like it sounds a little like hollow or something. It doesn't have that same punch. It's kind of interesting.
It's different. It's a little bit different. It's not quite the same devastating heat of, say, Obsidian in some ways, but
Yeah.
I think the songs are good.
It's Will Putney on the mix, and he's like one of the best producers too. So it's just kind of interesting. But maybe his style doesn't work too well with electronics at times. I don't know. But my number 3 is just Counterparts, Haven't Let Them Die. Yeah.
Alrighty. Drew,
Drew?
you're 3.
Okay, now I actually have to wake up.
Yes,
here.
you do. You cannot not be
Yeah.
confident about this now.
Okay, right. So my number 3 is forget everything I've said about Counterparts. Counterparts is going to go at number 3. Okay, that's my number 3. I don't have a 4 and 5. Cancel me. Okay.
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 You enjoyed Counterparts.
I actually didn't listen to that many EPs this year. Now that I think of it, so yeah, there you go.
Grant. On to number 2. I have put House of Protection galore in at 2. It's a fucking amazing, loopable, satisfying collection of songs. Bit fresh, bit different, and having seen them live as well, so cool, so good. Yeah, House of Protection, number 2 for me.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's so good. Mine is Greyhaven with Stereo Grief at number 2.
Okay, I've not heard that.
Dude,
You are cheating with all these albums or EPs that you've listened to. Come on. For fuck's sake.
Dude,
man.
has no one else listened to the Greyhaven EP? Oh my god.
Oh,
so
actually, I
good.
think I was listening to one of their songs today, was I? I don't
Welcome
think I've-
Party is a fucking banger. That's easy 9 out of 10 for me. Welcome
Greyhaven,
Party.
am I tripping here?
Such a good band, man. They're definitely way underrated in the scene. Their music is a little bit more
Oh, I listened to
niche.
the Empty Black album from 2018.
Great album.
Yeah.
Great band.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I mean, I've listened to the full House of Protection album or the EP, but I've like listened to just the singles, so I don't really know how the EP flows, so I can't really have an opinion on that. My number 2 is a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Mirar's Mare as number 2.
Oh.
Ooh. I thought that might have been your one. You were so high.
One of the only EPs clearly that I've listened to this year, and it's just got some really fucking amazing moments in it. But musically, it's like very, very hard to listen to for long periods of time. So, I mean, as far as music goes, do I want to have something that I can loop on end? Yes. Shock value and stuff, and like just being a nerd and stuff, it's fun to listen to.
Yeah.
And I got some great moments out of it, and there is some really sick like groovy moments and shit. But ultimately, it's chaos. So, but it's still really fresh, and it's one of the few albums this year that like made me like just have a good laugh. It was a very fun listen. I was just laughing whilst listening to it. So number 2, Mirror Mare.
Hot take. Yeah, I found it clueless in direction. It was just like a bunch of random cool guitar ideas. Although, like when I heard it, it was like, whoa! Like how are they creating that on guitar? Like it doesn't make for a really great listen. That's just me because I see all the hype it's getting.
Yeah, like I think the album flow in general was probably a little bit mental, but like some of the songs, how the songs individually flowed was pretty sick in parts. But like also how coherent can you make a Thal classical track go into hardstyle music? Like, I mean, there's only so much you can actually make that blend properly without it just being chaos.
Still haven't heard Mirar at all. This sounds mental.
Yeah, there's a track called Oslo that has
It's
like a
instrumental.
hardstyle breakdown.
Oh, Oslo's the best song.
Rose Bonbon's really, really good as well. Rose Bonbon's a fucking sick track. That's one of the better, like, just full on, like, showcases of, I guess, modern metal and Thal, whereas Oslo feels like more of a fun track of like, let's throw some hardstyle in here at the end, you know.
Cool to see them being talked about so much. I've been listening to them for, I don't know, almost 2 years now. Like people have been showing me songs on Twitch and they had vocals, but now this new stuff's everywhere. People are talking about it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my number 2.
Right on. Number one, I don't think either of you have heard this band, I suspect. They're called Unpeople, and they released a debut EP, also called Unpeople. They have metal-y moments because there's some scream vocals at times. As metal as a band like called Ruben would go, which is a big influence for them. But it's like multi-part harmonies, and it's catchy and it's swingy at times, and the songs are just so beautifully knit together. I think it's excellent pop rock heavy metalish moments songwriting. I think that EP is fucking brilliant, and I'm so excited to see what they do next.
Interesting. I actually heard Smother and Waste.
Yeah, both great songs.
I actually found it a little forced. That could be just me being hypercritical.
Yeah, like everyone's going to approach these from different things. I think because of the amount of, I mean, maybe part of this is the amount of like Brit rock I've enjoyed over the years. Like I like what they're doing with the universe that they've come from. Maybe I'll connect to it more on that level, perhaps.
But you don't like Oasis?
No. No, I don't. I'm really not a fan of Oasis.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think I've just heard of, when you said Unpeople, I was like, oh yeah, I know Unpeople, but I think it's just from your channel that I've like seen them pop up, so I don't think I've heard any of their music. So yeah. Album artwork is interesting as I look at it here.
It's weird. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the artwork. The artwork's kind of mad, but that EP I fucking adored. Barb.
Okay.
Number 1 is Disembodied Tyrant Synestia, the Poetic Edda. It's just
fuck yeah.
Ridiculous deathcore and neoclassical deathcore. Like I love this band called Necrophagus back in the day, which was just like super shreddy neoclassical guitar with like death metal. This band's kind of doing this, but with like big breakdowns. It makes me feel like a kid again, and like I fucking love it.
What you've described sounds very unappealing to me.
Yeah, it's not for you. Yeah. It's not for you. It's okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I actually thought about it and then I forgot about it completely. So I don't know, but
Who's
I'd
your
probably
one?
put that. That's in my top 5 for sure. I think just by default it has to go in my top 5 because I clearly haven't named more than 5 at this point.
Yeah,
So
that's my default.
I'd probably put that at number 2 and Mirror at number 3. And then my number 1, I think you probably all guessed it, is North Lane's Mirror's Edge. Not that I think it's like the most spectacular EP in the world and I see its flaws. I think the singles on it like are some of my favorite songs over the past like year and a half, 2 years.
Damn.
Well, as an EP, I just think like when I look at Dante was like one of my favorite songs of last year, and After Image has been one of my favorite songs of this year. So like for how small the EP actually is, they've got some amazing songs on it. The non-singles I thought slightly let it down. So I'm not like oblivious to the fact that there's definitely flaws with it. But as far as EPs goes, I'd put that at number 1.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice, nice, nice.
Nice.
Okay.
Should we
Quite
get
different
something
lists.
something spicy here? Should we do like
All right.
worst songs?
Oh shit! I'm game. I haven't thought
Are
of
you?
one, but
Yeah.
yeah.
See,
I don't know.
when I hear a bad song, I tend to just put it to the back of my head. So trying to
How
find
about-
these.
Since it's a little bit tough, maybe top 3 disappointments. So it could be
Whoa.
album or song.
Yeah, let's do I think albums as like a body of work is probably the easiest way to do that, as opposed to.
But that's so much
singles.
harsher on the people that made it. We don't say this album was a disappointment. That's horrible.
I put
can be
Sleep
based off your own
Token on a
expectations.
disappointment list before, so I
I
know.
don't think that's
Right.
necessarily.
I know.
Because it's purely based off your expectations, Steve. So like you can be honest and
Okay.
just how it let you down, but it's completely subjective. You know.
I don't know that I'm such a positive person. I don't know that I have any,
Oh,
but I'll think about it.
Shut up, Steve. Butcher someone.
Here's what I can do. I'm gonna look at like
Shut up, Steve.
Come on.
I'm
Yeah.
going to filter. I have a sheet of all the ratings I've given this year. I'm gonna look for things that I say were halfway decent and see what happens.
Ah. See, mine's just gonna be like bro job and like just loads of fucking sexually inclined tracks with breakdowns and stuff.
Oh,
So
I've got one already.
That sounds great. That sounds
yeah,
very
bro
cum
job
metal.
was great, to be honest.
Oh,
Wait, have you guys not heard bro job?
yeah, of course. Bro job,
Okay,
like
yeah.
No.
Okay.
oh,
Bro job is
what's
like
this?
unironically really good like deathcore music. But it also just talks about like fisting people and stuff, so it's a bit like, it's quite niche.
you've heard Teeny Weenie, right? Have you
I've
heard
been
Teeny
on a
Weenie?
bit on a bit of a binge, so I probably have.
I'm
So
finding
funny.
good songs for this list, folks. This is
Yeah.
good.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm able to actually. I've heard so much shit this year that I could literally make a top 10,000 for this. Like, okay, are we good? Can we do a top 3 for this, please?
Yeah.
Because top 5 is too hard for everything.
Yeah, top
unless it's,
3.
like,
Top 3.
song. Can I start?
You can start.
Okay. I'm gonna say top 3. My number 3 for, and this is just off the dome. There's no reasoning behind it, but that new Poppy album pisses me off.
You took
That
my.
new it's nothing to do with Poppy. It's the reception that it's received. People are blowing that shit so far out of the water. It annoys me. Okay, Steve just went black there for a second. His screen, that is.
Yeah.
Don't cancel me. Well, Poppy's new album annoys me. It's just so average, and people are talking about it as if it's like the second coming of. I don't know. Someone Burp, help me out here, please.
No, I will because I know Steve's going to interject and say like, "Well,
Steve looks so like, well, can you please explain why you feel like
So yeah, but you didn't put your album review up. Like that's
No,
what I was
I
waiting
didn't.
for.
No,
So
I
I'm
didn't.
taking all the heat, dude. I'm still getting people commenting on other videos of mine saying like, "Oh, but you don't like the Poppy record, but you like this." Like
Yeah.
people are mad. Like to me, okay, Poppy, very talented. I love what she's doing, but the thing is so manufactured and artificial and just like it's good music because like Jordan Fish, you got Steve from House of Protection writing it too, and like Poppy, it's talented people, but the music it's just so not. It feels so forced. It doesn't feel honest, and I think that's what I kind of gravitate towards when it comes to metal music, something more honest, especially core music.
Mhm.
So
I
Yeah.
think, not unlike what you're saying about your reaction to Unpeople, it might just be a you connect with it or you don't kind of thing. Because when I listen to Unpeople, it sounds completely genuine to me. And like authentically, that's what they would like to create, a natural habitat, as it were. And I feel the same about what Poppy's doing. Having listened to her music for several years, it sounds very in keeping with the kind of things she was doing. It has a different production element because Jordan Fish is in there and Steve's helping write some stuff. But I like the kind of 90s rock elements that are in there. I like the hardcore elements that are in there. I think all of it is done very well. There's moments where the vocal production reminds me a little bit of what was going on in the Next Gen album with Lost and things like, and it kind of takes you out a little bit. Oh, this is a Jordan Fish production thing. I don't know if that's, some of the higher volume chorus material works this is as naturally perhaps as I would have preferred, but I think that's a very good album overall. I think I had it at my number 10 or something.
Yeah, and I
dug it.
So I do want to reiterate that I do think it's a good record. Like, it's a fun listen. All the songs are actually good.
But it disappointed you a little bit. I guess that's the point.
Yeah, and I agree with Drew. It's more like the reception of just like, it's like people are just like, this is like incredible and you can't say anything negative about it kind of thing. And I think it's just because the pedestal that Poppy's on. And I think that's where the issue can kind of lie. It's just like, people look up to Poppy and everything that she's done. That is like, it doesn't matter what genre it is, it's Poppy. And like, so you can't say anything negative. And I think that's where it just like, it gets a little annoying.
I would, I mean, I've not seen that, but I would agree that that would be annoying because everything can be criticized. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah, like I didn't, like even my review, I didn't find it, there was nothing, like again, the production, the mix and everything is perfectly acceptable. It sounds great. It's Jordan Fish involved. There is some fun songs in there. Like my favorite song was Crystallized, which is the furthest thing from anything metal, but it's just more so, and again, that was kind of the point I wanted to make, is in terms of whatever list we're doing right now, top 3 annoying albums or whatever, or just like worst disappointments, worst songs, whatever. That's more just for me to kind of like, it's more a reflection of like the response I've seen online, where it seems that, am I going insane here? If it wasn't for Burb right now, like, and seeing his response to the album, I would just be like, am I literally the only person on earth that doesn't see the massive insane appeal to this album? So yeah, rant over for me.
I feel like I'm the only one too.
But then Poppy, I just had Knock Loose with Poppy as my number 1 breakdown of the year, and in my breakdown video, which I only released today, I specifically made a point to be like, Poppy is one of the main reasons why I love the ending of this song. She works so well on that. So it's for anyone who's, because this is the problem as well, you get like, oh, you're just clearly against women, bro. Shut up.
You've gotten those comments?
Oh, bro, all the fucking time, man. Like, well, not all the time. That's dramatic.
Just
but
stop
like,
being against women, and you won't get those comments.
Yeah, Drew.
Come on. Yeah, before I get myself cancelled on this, let's fucking move on, please.
Yeah, listen, you've helped me out there talking about that album, because my number 3 in terms of disappointments of the year is an album. The Black Album by Imminence. I did not jive with that album at all. I did not enjoy it. I thought it was very predictable and repetitive. And here's the thing. The same criticism has been laid on bands like Make Them Suffer this year, or Alt. Some people don't like that. Like, oh, it's the same, whatever. If you like that sound and you connect with it, you'd be happy to have a full album of it. I think that's an okay and understandable thing and perspective to have. I didn't happen to like what Imminence were doing with their kind of song structures and their overall sound of that record. It was very kind of dismal for me. And so I didn't enjoy having a whole album where there was a lot of the similar kind of themes explored. And every time, as the album went on, like the more the violin comes in to do a thing, I'm just like, oh, I'm so over this. I was very disappointed with that, especially because I was a little bit late to it. I was seeing everyone was losing their minds at this. So maybe the bar was set too high for me to enjoy it. It was like, oh, it didn't really hit the level that I think other people are seeing on this. But yeah, the Black by Eminence really disappointed me, because I've also enjoyed their singles in the past, but maybe I'm just not the audience for a full continuous album of that.
Yeah, I think that's a totally fair thing, man. What are you going to say, Drew?
I know, I'm just thinking about the conversation we're about to have later on when we get on to different sections. That's all I'm thinking of.
Okay.
So this will be a fun topic to pick back up. So
clearly, the Black Album is high on his list.
No. How dare you suggest such a thing, Steve?
So I don't like. I kind of agree with you, Steve. Like, but I liked it. But I understand your criticisms about it, because like Imminence is a band that I've been critical about, and their music can be repetitive. I've mentioned many times that they always use the song title as a hook, and this album generally does that. Not as bad as their last record. But I think the style of violin, I'm glad that they incorporated more violin into the album. There's just some beautiful moments, but I do think it's hurt by predictable cliche metalcore tropes. I think there's a lot of like just like classic metalcore sounding ideas where I feel like Eminence is capable of a little bit more.
I think they can do better. I think they can.
I think they can do I think they can do better too. Like and I like the guys. This is like I love the guys behind Eminence. They've been so like nice to me lately. But I will still be honest with them and like this is I think it's their best record so far, but like it still hasn't unlocked their full potential because like if they want to be like the next big thing in metalcore or whatever, like they're going to be popular in metalcore, but they're not going to be popular in anything else because they're still sticking to the metalcore tropes and cliches. They got to keep
push themselves a little
out
further.
Yep. So I do agree with that sentiment, but I do think I personally liked a lot of moments like the ending of the song, The Black, gorgeous with the violin and just like the double kicks. It's pretty epic sounding at times. And Heaven Shall Burn's a fucking banger too, in my opinion. So
your number 2 disappointment of the year, Burb.
Oh shit! Right.
I forgot we were even on this one.
I forgot, dude. I know. I'm kind of looking and I'm trying to think, man. You know what? I won't say it's like a huge disappointment because I'm not like a huge fan of this band. They kind of like they're not for me. But Wage War Stigma was just a kind of boring listen for me. Yeah. It's just a very generic, safe metalcore that's very poppy. You can get a little country for me. I mean, I don't mind country music, but look at Bill Murray. He wrote a country rock album, and it's awesome. So to me, it's so plain and octane core. Like it's good music for now. This is the problem that I have a lot with octane music. It's fine for now. It's a little bit digestible, but it's not going to last. You won't go back to like 5 years from now and like, oh, remember that Wage War song? Like that's how I feel about this kind of music. It's like junk food. So I can't say that I'm disappointed by it, but like it's all right. It's probably one of my least favorite records of the year.
Alrighty, fair enough. I've not heard it. Drew, do you have a number 2?
I'm probably being a bit nitpicky now. Poppy.
I think that's what this section is for.
Yeah, I think Poppy would have been my number 1 probably now that I rethink it. But yeah, off the top of the head, I mean, I'm thinking back to like earlier in the year. If we just think about like disappointments in general or letdowns, I was a little bit let down by the Era album.
That's a good.
I really do like Era. I really, really do. Specifically JT. I've spoken to JT a little bit in the past, and he's just a fucking nice guy. And it does feel wrong to even suggest that I don't necessarily love the new album because I want to love it because I really like him, but it's just not how it works, is it? Yeah. So I mean, I would say the Era album was a little bit disappointing. Just again, purely based on my own expectations. I really like their self-titled album. I just love the riffing and stuff on that, and they've kind of changed their style a little bit. Maybe moved away from the more riffy side of things, which to me just, you know, it was more about my expectations. Because when I've gone back to some of the singles, I've been like, yeah, you know what, there's some good singles on that. But I think just at the time, it was definitely a bit of a letdown.
Yeah. That's a fair point. All of this disappointment is relative to our own personal experiences. Not like there's nothing else to go on. So
yeah, sure. So that's number 2.
My number 2,
Steve,
is Ice Nine Kills collaboration with Real Big Fish, Walking on Sunshine.
Oh yeah, that's
because I like I'm impressed by Ice Nine Kills. They're an incredible live band. Wow, they're amazing live, and I've enjoyed some of their songs in the past. I'm not really into the horror metal stuff, to be honest, but I have enjoyed what they've done here and there. I'm a ska punk kid. I was in a ska punk band, so I'm like, fuck, I love Real Big Fish. So like, Ice Nine Kills, Real Big Fish, some heaviness, some screaming, and some ska. Let's fucking go. And I thought it was pretty basic, and I didn't really like the sound and the mix of it. I didn't think it landed. It felt like the two bands are kind of fighting each other. I didn't really get the point of it. I was so disappointed. And Walking on Sunshine is a banger song as well that they covered. That song is amazing. The original is fantastic. I just thought it was like, why did we bother doing this? It didn't hit for me at all.
On Sunshine. Yeah. I didn't mind it. I don't know. But yeah, that's interesting. Like, I do love some ska punk. Mad Caddies? You ever listen to Mad Caddies?
Mad Caddies are amazing.
Oh, so good. Thank you. Yeah, they're great. So interesting. My number 1, I can't really say again disappointment, but it's probably the cringiest song I've heard all year. Sorry, Drew. Falling in Reverse, Bad Guy. Because I'm a bad guy. She's a little bad
Stop,
boy.
stop. I get it. I'm afraid.
I don't hate
Sorry.
that. On first listen, it was the weakest song on the album.
It's so cringe, man.
It grows a bit, I
But
think.
it's
I'm
so
starting to-
catchy.
I'm starting to like it more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
man,
like it.
I'm
But
just
I still
thinking-
find it so cringy. It's like, stop. I should not like this.
Yeah. Well, arguably, that's like honestly a lot of what Ronnie gets at with a lot of his lyrics, regardless. But this one is just like not holding back on how cringe he can go. But
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
yeah, it's horrific. Yeah. I was trying to avoid that one. I was going to put that as my number one. Just shaming myself for that being like so high in my
No,
top
own
100.
it. Own it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good pick. But yeah, I'm kind of like reframing all of this because I don't think there should be an order to the disappointments or just the cringe or whatever, because this is just a mess. But I would say, looking at, like, I'm going through my videos right now, and obviously a lot of the stuff I've posted hasn't been like negative, so it's hard to like remember what was really whatever because I'm looking at like positive stuff here. But one that I did post was my reaction to Infant Annihilator's return with a.
Oh.
I think if again, it's maybe not number one, but it was one of those things that they like redid. They did a reconceptualization of one of their first. I think it was their first ever EP or record or whatever it is. Yeah, it's an EP. Which the EP's name is Mr. Sister Fister for anyone out there who wants to go check it out. Yeah, so I checked that out. And I think just more so the.
Are
Yes,
you new
Steve.
to Infinite Annihilator?
Yes, Steve. Infant Annihilator. Mr. Sister Fister. That is what I said. I know.
Oh, yeah.
I love that it rhymes.
There's like if you're looking for one of the most brutal lyrical tracks of all, I actually was nearly turning off the video with how like genuinely like the worst lyrical content I've ever heard in my entire life in anything. Like
Whoa,
it's horrendous. I can't remember. I actually might need to pull the song up.
No. Let's not do it.
I'm not going to say it.
Let's
Oh yeah. Anyway, so point is, I'm not disappointed by necessarily the music, but it was such a big return, and they just like reconceptualized an older album. So it was like a big return. It was like, oh, they're back, but it was like we've heard this before. We've just kind of redone it, so it felt a little bit like cheap as a return. But so yeah, I don't think it's number one necessarily, but it's just one of the three that I can mention.
Fair. My last one here. Again, with this collaboration, I was hoping for much better things. Having been a pop punk fan throughout my teens, I've been a big fan of this band at one point, and they were collaborating with well, not the coolest, but still like a good metalcore band. All Time Low with I Prevail. I was like, hype. Let's fucking go. That song was awful.
Oh, yeah?
So awful to listen to. It's called Hate This Song. And I'm sure they were intentionally writing it in a way to make it cringe and annoying with the corny catchiness of it, so that people might say, oh, I hate this song. They were like trying to make this earworm thing. But it just made for an awful experience listening. I was so disappointed. Did not like that at all.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't listened to it. I like All Time Low.
Do
I like
yourself a
some I
favor.
Prevail.
Skip it.
Do yourself a favor and don't.
Don't.
That sounds like a
Fair,
bit of a cop out though, doesn't it? Like if we name a song like You'll Hate, what's it called?
Hate This Song.
Yeah, like if you name a song Hate This Song, like they've just got a get out of jail free card. They're like,
Oh,
oh
yeah, they
look at
did
the
a good
fucking
job.
name, you know?
Yeah.
So genius.
Yep.
All right. You guys figure out the next category. I got to use the washroom quickly.
Yes.
Okay.
No worries. Okay.
All right.
What are we doing, Steve?
Well, I mean, this is going way longer than I had anticipated. We're at 11:30 at night on a
Yes.
school night. We've done bangers of the year. We have done EPs of the year. We've done disappointments. Left to do, we could do top 5 songs of the year,
Yeah.
and we could do our top 5 albums of the year. And then perhaps after that, if we have time and the inclination, we talk about some stand-up moments from the year in other areas.
Yeah. I think we've probably spent far too long on these other categories, so we can definitely fly. I have my top 5 ready to go, so there's no more like waiting around for me. I'm
Well, that's a you
Locked
thing.
in.
I've always had my top 5s ready to go, except for the disappointments.
true. Yes, but also, yeah, I mean, the more I talk about it and then when I hear other people's opinions on it, I'm like, oh, do you know what? They're kind of right. Maybe I should change my entire opinion because this person said this. So it's like, yeah. But my top 5 is pretty locked in for songs.
Yeah.
My album of the year, like as of right now, like again, this is, people will be
Yeah, yeah.
watching this at the end of the year when all of our videos have probably already gone out and they're like, oh, well, what's he talking about? Because this has already been his opinion, but it's going to change a lot. And
That's fair.
ultimately, I have to pull the trigger on one. So whichever one you see in my end of year videos may or like maybe or may not be my final thoughts. So
Yeah, that's also
We'll
grand.
see.
I mean, any of these things is a snapshot in time of this
Yes.
moment, and it might change tomorrow or during conversation. But you know what? Good point. Actually, I think I prefer that more, or put it down. These are
Yeah.
impossible lists. It's just for funsies. We don't have to be, standing by these forever.
True.
Well, let's
And
go
since-
I heard
into our
funsies.
top.
Since Burb got to use his toilet privilege, may
Oh,
I,
really?
sir?
Okay.
I'm gonna put my hand up. Please. I'll be 2 seconds. Okay.
Off you go.
Come on,
seconds,
Drew.
right?
How
You guys
could
keep it
you?
going.
How could you?
Jesus Christ.
What are
While
we
he
doing?
does that, we're gonna do song of the year, our top 5, and then album of the year, our top 5, and then we can talk about some notable moments from the year outside of that kind of space.
I like that idea. While Drew's in the washroom, want to do like an honorable mention?
Sure.
So, song of the year. Okay, let me see what I got here.
It's so hard. It's
you know
so
what?
difficult. Yeah,
I'm
go on.
going to mention Delta Sleep with the song Sun Chaser.
Okay, I
so-
don't know them at all.
Delta Sleep is like an indie. I don't know. I don't even know how to categorize them. It's not metal. It's like a post-punk indie rock sounding band, I guess. A little bit emo vibes, I guess. Their song starts off with acoustic and nice vocals, and then it kind of picks up into this punk rock chant. Just a great song. Like I don't know
Cool.
how to.
That sounds
explain
good. I'll check that out. Then I
No,
can
you
do an
won't.
honorable.
it.
I won't. I've written it down on my spreadsheet. I might get to it.
Okay.
An honorable mention for me in my top songs of the year. This would be my number 6 one, so it won't count in the top 5, but it's so close. Is Cane Hill with The Midnight Sun. It's such a filthy, disgusting, groovy, satisfying, sexy, cool song. I just love it, but it's just out of my top 5 songs of the year. Cane Hill, so close.
Yeah, a lot of people love that album.
Mm.
Fade's a really good song.
Fade is not my favorite on the album.
Fade.
I'm more into The Midnight Sun, Permanence and Sleep. I can Ecstasy and Grief. They're fantastic, fantastic band. All right, top 5 songs of the year. My 5. This will be a short segment because we've covered it already. But "Suffocate" by Knocked Loose is by Knocked Loose. Knocked Loose
Knocked Loose.
is my. Let me have some more wine. That's my number 5 song of the year. Herb.
Sorry, I'm eating nuts.
Listen, it's our Christmas party. It's fine.
It is. Number 5 is Alt with Aquila.
Yeah.
We all know. Everyone knows. If you're
song.
listening to this podcast and you don't know the song yet, go listen to it.
Gotta be top 5. If it's not in all of our top 5s, I'm good.
It's
Someone's
not
getting kicked
in
off the.
mine. I'm in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Anyway,
Uh-oh.
who we getting in?
It's in my top 15. Yeah, go on.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Okay, number 5. I'm just gonna copy Steve. Mine is "Suffocate" as well by Knocked Loose.
Boring.
Hey,
It
that's
is
a
what it is.
great song. 5th best
Yeah.
of the year.
Again, this
My-
changes on the daily at this point, but yeah.
My number 4 is 156 Silence, Better Written Villain. That was my earliest song of the year. It came out earlier in the year. I was like, fuck, this is amazing. It's the first time I ever heard of theirs, and I just adore it. It pulls on this like Deftonesy sound, but it's their own thing. It's kind of hardcore. It's kind of melodic. It has a glorious post-second chorus after breakdown bridge moment. It's kind of all comes together. It is a wonderful song. One of my absolute favorites of the year.
Has like an emo ending too. Like the vocals get a little emo, and I don't say that as a bad thing. Like I really like it.
It draws from all the things I've enjoyed over the years in the rock universe. I think it's fucking ace.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta stop eating so many nuts. My number 4.
Sorry, clip that.
Yeah.
Number
It's
4.
over for you. Clips are gonna be flying out of that one.
No shame. I don't care. I love nuts. Keep it
There you
going. Number 4 is Unprocessed, Dark Silent Complete. The great song that.
Really?
Oh, I love that song. First 2 minutes are like crazy chaos. Look, I love my old school prog metalcore that would go like crazy random. And that's what the song does. Like the first 2 minutes shifts into so many different styles. And then the second half of the song is like beautiful with like cello. And it gets a little bit like mysterious with the thumping beat. Like, and then it builds up to this like climactic ending. I live for shit like that. I love that song. That's just me. I've been a fan of
That's
that
a good
style for a
call.
while.
Here's a fun factoid about that. quick name drop. When I was chatting to Manuel from on Processed, he was saying like that was something he'd been trying to do for ages. Like I always want to do this thing. It's like fucking heavy and then like chill, and then it comes together this new way at the end. But they were saying maybe I could have made the transition smoother, but like I kind of got bored. I just want to put it out there, so I just like sent it. Like I love that as a concept. It's just like, you know, you forget the process sometimes that goes into songs. And it's just like, you know, actually I've spent enough time with this. I like it enough as it is to send it out there and see what happens. And actually that could be the perfect version of it that really connects with people.
Yeah.
We've all met him or talked to him, right? I think you too, Jura.
Yeah, I met him as well, yeah, and with Tesseract.
Yeah, lovely man.
Great guy, yeah. Really good guy.
True.
Is it me? Number 4 is The Emptiness Machine by Linkin Park. Just
banger.
Fucking great return song.
Banger.
So catchy. It's one of just a lot of my list is just what song can make me sing along the most.
Wow.
Ultimately, what else are we here for, you know? Obviously
that's
breakdowns
not
and
in
shit,
my top
but
100.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, you really didn't like that song, did you?
It's catchy. And if we're measuring it on catchiness, well done. Huge. But I find it a bit like, I think the melodies for me, especially in the verses, I'm like, I find that a bit tiresome, the way that repeats. But that's just a me thing, maybe. But clearly, the world disagrees. The world fucking loves that song.
No, Drew, it's not fair enough.
I'm not gonna disagree with you, Steve. You know, I'm just gonna take the high ground here and move on.
No, it's a banger, man. I love that song. Yeah. It's funny because like at the gym they play my gym plays some bangers, but like they play Linkin Park Heavy's the Crown too. I'm like, yeah, that song.
I prefer that song. I prefer that one.
I find Emptiness Machine when that song comes on, it hits. I like that song a lot more. That's just me. People are different online. People like Two-Face the most, and then Heavy's the Crown.
Oh,
so.
Two-Face is good. Okay, good pick. Good pick for some people. You know.
Yeah. Probably not good enough, Steve.
Not good enough.
Not top 100.
I'm the exception there. Like most people would agree with you that that's one of the best songs of the year.
That's right.
We're on to our number 3 song of the year. Mine. I've mentioned this in the banger of the year, so I won't go on about it too much. But Tabula Rasa by Wind Waker, I just find eminently satisfying. I adore that song. Burb, on to you for your third.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the song, to be honest. I'm just trying to get one back.
I think on first listen, you'd be like, the song's fine. If you listen to that song 6 times, you'd be like, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I'm going to listen to it 6 times now when this is over. Just
Good
6.
No, you won't.
And then I'm going
to... You'll be in bed. Go on, Burb.
Drew, you're going to like this one. Calandra I Am.
I've not heard that song.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Snap those fingers.
Album's incredible. Yeah. Have you listened to their new track Winter?
No, I haven't had the chance
yet. Ghosts. That shit got me crying on stream. I literally was crying on stream.
Beautiful song.
Is
beautiful.
It's a Christmas song for like people who've like lost loved ones over the Christmas period, and it's just, oh man.
I don't. I think they have better. It's beautiful. I don't think it's like exceptional.
It's not their best song, but it's just the time of year that they brought it out with the idea behind it, and just how good our vocals are, and just the compositions of the songs in general. Like it's just fucking amazing.
Here I am just thinking like, wow, that sounds amazing, Drew.
Just pouring them on your head.
Wow, that sounds really sad.
Oh man.
Okay, cool. Lovely pick there. I need to hear I Am. I've not heard that.
Yeah, I Am's really good. It's kind of like a proggy version of Calandra, so I think it makes sense why Burb's into it.
Right.
I gotta listen.
Your number 3, Drew?
My number 3 is kind of boring, considering it was my most played track, but it's North Lane After Image featuring Ian Kenny of Carnival. Just
great.
Such a good track. I just love the melodies in that. Again, the After Image EP has its flaws for sure, but just I can't ignore like Ian Kenny coming in on that, man. The way he comes in is, and then like the kind of back and forth with him and Marcus Bridge, because I love Carnival before that as well. So it just hearing those two collide, I was like, yes. So yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, glorious
grew
song.
On me.
Good pick. On to our number 2 song of the year. Mine is a brand new band who I have said is the most excited I've been about a metal band since Sleep Token, and I still think that is true. Grin with their song All For You. Yes, it's got, interestingly enough, Burb, I just thought your pick for Unprocessed has some really hard changes in terms of their structure there. All For You has some abrupt moments, but there's moments they tease in what's going to happen next. The chorus that comes in, you're like, what? But when you know it's coming, it's fucking glorious. All For You is one of the best songs I think that's come out this year, and I have listened to that an embarrassing amount of times. It's so good.
You're selling me. You're selling me. I've only listened to that one song, and I thought it was all right, but I'm intrigued.
They've again like excited me in a way when I first heard Sleep Token. I wasn't like, oh my god, this band's gonna be huge. It's more like, oh, there's something a little different here. There's something great. There's gold. Let's watch this. This is really interesting, and I think they're gonna do well if they can keep going, keep writing some songs. They could do very interesting things.
I hear you. Okay, so number 2 for me. So with this pick, I don't know if it's necessarily like my favorite song, and the reason why I'm choosing this number 2 is I think it's one of the most deserving, but it's also when I watch it live, it hits so much harder. So it's not really like the Spotify version, it's more the live version. Gojira Mea Culpa.
Sorry, I just ruined that whole moment.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
Just when you said live, I was like, I know this is going to be this one, but yeah.
I thought it'd be like Eskimo, Electric Cowboy.
Electric Cowboy? I do like some Electric Cowboy, but no, Gojira is just like that live video gave me goosebumps. It still, I don't know, like now to be honestly, if it still does, but for a while there, I'm like, this is so fucking cool. Like they played this at the Olympics, and it's so epic.
Cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good pick.
Good call.
My number 2 is Burb's number 5. Alt. You know what? Hold on. It's between 2 and 1 is still so up in the air. I don't know. So this could change. But
now.
Right now it's Alt Aquila. It's number 2, which was a really hard decision to not put it as number 1. Really, really hard. So it's number 2 for now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that might have been one of those moments, especially for you in your world and context, where you're getting a little bit tired of some samey stuff going on in the metal, and then Aquila comes out, and it re-energized you, I think, in a way, perhaps.
In a way, like I was definitely high on Alt as it was with the Orphan Breed. I was just kind of so excited, and I think maybe you're right in the sense that I couldn't have anticipated anything being better than the Orphan Breed, but then I heard Aquila, and I was like, oh, this is actually doing exactly what I love Alt for from previous listens, but like this is a whole new realm they're stepping into with these like falsetto vocals and stuff, and it was like a really massive chorus. So yeah,
banger.
Good call.
Beautiful. Banger.
Yeah,
great song. My number 1 song of the year, to no one's surprise, is Better Hell by Bill Murray. I've listened to that song. It was the most listened to song I had this year. I open and close my streams with that song on Twitch.
Yeah.
I think it's glorious. It's so catchy, but there's some heavy moments to it. It's devastatingly connective lyrically. I just think it's absolute gold, and I cannot get enough of that song.
It's so good.
Great pick.
Yeah, I love that song too. Obviously, I gave it second banger of the year. But my number 1 is Disembodied Tyrant Synestia, Winter.
Wow.
Yeah,
our tastes are so different.
Well, the thing is, this is the first time I've ever given deathcore a song of the year. Deathcore, I'm critical about. I'm not like a huge deathcore fan. So with this song, to me, I won't say it's for everybody. You know, maybe I think this year was a little bit. This year was the hardest year to pick song of the year for me. Every other year, I'm like, okay, last year was Sleep Token. The year before that was something else. I forget. But like, I've always had it. This time was like, what is it? Like, it's probably Disembodied Tyrant Synestia. It's not for everyone, but to me, I just love the classical and like metal elements. There's times where like the music just hits, and like you watch reaction channels. This is one of my favorite things. Like when you watch a song that you like and other people's reactions, they all have the same reaction to certain beats of the song. You're like, yeah, they did the same thing. Like that's what the song does. Drew does the same kind of like faces to certain moments that I did when I first heard the song. So I don't know that I really like the song. I'm not saying it is the best song of the year, but yeah, I think it's good shit. It's good shit.
Cool, man. I like it. Different pick.
Yeah, I think when you listen to so much music like we do, when you get like a song, I think Winter really stood out. it's definitely like is it in my? Do you know what? It's actually my number 10 song of the year. I can see my list here.
It's a Vivaldi cover. Like it's
yeah,
just,
it's like it's so obviously it's not unique in the sense that it's a cover, but like it's so different for what we would be used to. I guess it's not like very often you hear like a fucking classical song remastered or reimagined in such a way that they've done it. And then yeah, some of the moments in that are just ridiculous. Like just the death encased in ice call out is one of my favorite call outs.
Yeah, that's the part. And then that part,
it's just like, oh man, that was
melody,
like the moment I was like,
oh yeah,
oh shit, that was so cool. But yeah, no, that's a great pick as well. I would not go against that as number one at all. But my number one is a band that we've already discussed. It's Unprocessed, Sacrifice Me.
Good pick.
Woo!
That's my
Yeah.
favorite song of theirs.
Yeah, that song, I don't know. Just, I hear you on the Dark Side and Incomplete, but I think Dark Side and Incomplete does everything that I love with Unprocessed, but it kind of makes it like very, very prog. Whereas I think Sacrifice Me kind of does, it like condenses all of the things that I love with Unprocessed. It like really narrows it down into like a more digestible song. But Dark Side and Incomplete is like a really fucking sick, amazing song. Like it is for sure. But
Bro, that's
I-
so
I-
sick though.
yeah, I rinsed Sacrifice Me. Just the melody in that.
That's my
It's so good.
Number 11.
Oh,
song of the year.
shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fucking good.
Yeah. But
Dark
there's a
Side
lot
and
of,
Complete.
like- Sorry, bro, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm interrupting your number one, but I just find it so cool that like this band who's been around for a while now, they went into like something more polyphia, poppy sounding, and they kind of lost the interest of the metal fans. But now they're coming back into the scene, and lo and behold, it's like in our top tens. These different songs by theirs. I'm so stoked about this band. Is all.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because it feels like after seeing Unprocessed with like supporting Tesseract last year, Tesseract were my number one song last year. It's like some kind of like passing of the torch here that's going on that I just realized. Like Tesseract last year, I think was what's the fucking name of the song with the astronaut
Warbeam?
helmet?
Oh,
No, the
Legion, which
Legion,
is
yeah.
a fucking
Yeah, that was my
banger.
song of the year last year.
So good.
Great pick.
Yeah, just that fucking vocal section is just mind blowing. But yeah, so
Yeah.
Sacrifice Me is number one for.
I think
it is
mine
for
last.
now.
I
It's
think
between
mine
the two of
last
them.
year might have been Euclid by Sleep Token, probably. And then this year it's Better Hell by Mel Murray. Similar thing,
Yeah.
handing on the torch of the two bands.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah. But
Nice.
just
Not
even
me.
like final piece on this as well is that I couldn't decide between Sacrifice Me and Aquila because they both came out quite a while back. It's not like one of them has the recency bias of the other. They both came out like quite a while ago. So I was trying to figure out which one I like the most. And the way I narrowed it down like right now was just I've listened to them God knows how many times each. I've probably overplayed all of them. I was like, if I had to just listen to one song right now, what would I prefer to listen to? And it was Sacrifice Me. So I was like, that's my number one.
That's it.
That's just right now where it is. So yeah, but it's just a toss
Good
up, you know.
call. Good. What's great is there's a variety in there. There's a variety of opinions and rankings and all sorts, but also some moments where like, yeah, totally agree.
Yeah,
Very nice. All right,
Sure.
let's go to the last released in 2024
Thingy-majiggy.
album of
the big
year.
one.
The big one.
Oh God.
My number 5 is going to roll some eyes, I think, but I stand by it.
Let's go.
My number 5 album of the year is Falling in Reverse.
Yeah.
Burb called it. I think it is what I call it like a blockbuster album of songs. Like you go to see some blockbuster movies for the entertainment, for the bigness and hugeness and just satisfying things that can be. Like one of my favorite movies of all time is Armageddon, which is like a much hated film in a lot of ways, but it's a blockbuster. It's fun. It's funny. It's dramatic. It's got all the beats that I enjoy out of like a, entertaining movie. Falling in Reverse's album is just every single song. I put them like, oh, actually, yeah, I really love this. Oh, actually, yeah, I love this too. Like there's a variety within that. All My Life is one of my favorite songs of the year. I fucking love me some country rock. My God, and they nailed that. Ronald is heavy, but really satisfying in its own way as well. The older songs, Voices in My Head and all the rest, that rap rock element, it's so high, well produced. I think that is an unquestionably really well put together album. My number 5.
Yeah. I hate that you can't. Well, I don't know what it's like in your community, but like people are very, very negative about Falling in Reverse and Ronnie Radke in my community. So, but like I stand by my opinions. I'm not afraid to say it. But like, Yeah, the Falling in Reverse record is like, it's almost like an unpopular opinion. Like, yeah, you were kind of mentioning it's like you don't care, but it's like an unpopular opinion to share it. Um, how do you feel? Because people have said this, that in a way it should not win album of the years or anything because of how old the songs are on that record.
Well, they're not all old. It's okay for songs to bridge the gap over a couple of years, I think. Once you go like, this is now an album, this is released, out it goes. By the same token, my EP of the year might have ended up being Grin's EP, but it's not complete yet. It's a couple of songs to come out in the new year. So it's just exempt from the list. Because for me, it's when the album of songs is released fully, then it's eligible.
Yeah, because like in 10 years' time, no one's going to look back on the Falling in Reverse album and be like, oh, well, that released over the period of 5 years. They're just going to say, here's the album. I've never heard anything on it. Let's listen to it from start to finish. So like that's the album as they see it in 10 years' time. So I guess if you're not involved, we've been directly involved in every single release that's come out since like 5 years ago, 4 years ago. So we're going to see it a little differently.
As well, on another side of things, Bring Me the Horizon Next Gen. That's taken a long time to fully release all of those singles as a collective album.
Yeah.
But that's in an album of the year conversation with this.
Well, yeah, I think the main thing with Falling in Reverse, it's been like 5 years. Like, I think the first single came out 5 years ago, like, which is crazy.
It is. It's weird. I know. I remember when it came out, like, wow, you're really putting like these songs on there. Like those songs are really old. So it does feel a little bit of a cop out to put some songs on there.
I think, though, then, from my perspective, and again, this is all of these decisions are relative to our own experiences. I've only been listening to Falling Reverse in the last year. So for me, they actually feel quite cohesive and just in the last year pocket. I had no idea they were multiple years of releases.
Yeah, it's just a perspective thing. Like I was reacting to Falling in Reverse in my parents' bedroom. Not my parents, Jesus Christ. In my bedroom, in my parents' house. Jesus.
My parents' bedroom, in my mum's underwear. Completely normal.
Like I was mom and dad are just sleeping in the back.
Oh God. Anyway, moving on from that one. But like, the point is that like I was in, like I've had like 9 different setups since then. Like this feels like a lifetime ago. This is when I still got my sister involved. This is getting weirder as it goes. My sister involved in the videos. Like this is when I still did reactions with my sister when I was listening to these tracks. Okay. The point is that it feels like a lifetime ago when these songs started to come out. So to your point, if you look at it from the perspective of like someone who's just getting into it now, you can look at the album in a completely different light. To me, who's like, wait, this is the same album we're talking about from when it started like 5 fucking years ago. So yeah, I get it.
Totally fair.
Yeah, Popular Monster 5 years ago when it got uploaded to Epitaph.
Yeah, because I wasn't involved. So interesting. Burb, you're number 5.
I just like that pick. I find it respectable. But my number 5, I literally just had it. Bring the Rise and Post-Human Next Gen. Nice. It's just a fun record. It's got a lot of bangers. Kool-Aid, Amen, like those songs are just fucking goated for me. Limousine is good. Utopia is really good. It's just a solid record. I won't say it's like their best record by any means, but I do like that it pushes the envelope a little bit of emo music, because emo music's been pretty stale for a while. So the fact that they're kind of bringing in hyper pop and stuff is cool. But yeah,
fair points.
Very fair. My number 5, this is still in construction at the moment, but I'll go with Bill Murray's album. What's it called? American Motorsports? I'll put that number 5. I'm happy to put that at number 5 in and around that area.
I'm surprised it's that high on your list.
Yeah, there's a few that I'm kind of like looking at that are not even in the list, and I'm kind of not. Yeah, but I'll go for now. I'll go 5 again. The video will already be out for my final decision, so yeah.
There we go. Yes, no, wonderful album. I love that pick. Number 4 for me, Alt from the New World. A masterpiece album. I enjoyed every single second of that, and I listen to that fairly regularly still. I love that album. I think it's a brilliant one of the better albums, certainly in the metalcore world this year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I felt like this year for metalcore was a little bit meh, to be honest. So the Alt album stands out.
I found, sorry, bro, I found last year really easy to do for albums, but the singles I think were quite hard to do last year, whereas this year it's kind of like the opposite. I feel like it's really hard to do albums. Wait, did I fuck that up? No. I don't know if I fucked that up at all.
You're right.
I will say, like, for me, it's really hard to do albums this year. I found I honestly, hot take, I found 2024 to be kind of a weak year. Probably the weakest year of music since doing YouTube content for almost 6 years. I think we were spoiled last year with Sleep Token, Silent Planet, and I know Silent Planet was a little polarizing, aka Drew. But like Johnny Booth, I could
Slightly
go on.
underwhelming is the phrase.
Invent Animate, Polaris, like it was insane. I know we're going to talk about 2025, but I think 2025 is going to be insane. This year was all right. So my number 4 is Bill Murray American Motorsport. Just a fun record. Like it's just a great record.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Drew, your 4?
My 4 is, sorry, I have all the names in a playlist, but it's like individual songs. It's Knock Loose, You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to. That's number 4. Again, just to kind of like, I feel like it's impossible to go through all these picks without me kind of mirroring what Burb is saying to a certain degree, where I find it quite hard to pick. There was no albums this year compared to last year that really, really, really blew my mind. Like absolutely blew me away. Last year was like quite easy to pick a top 3, and then the rest of them were just easy to slot into like 4 and 5. Whereas this year, anything in my top 5, even top 10, could probably go number 1 at any given day. Like I'm not that like
good praise though, in a way.
Yeah, I'm not like it's a good place, yeah, but I feel like there's nothing that really stands out above the rest for me.
Same.
But there is still 1 or 2 that are kind of like battling for that top spot currently. But yeah, number 4 is Knock Loose's album.
Nice. Good album. It's certainly in my top albums. How vague. Not in my top 5 though. My number 3 is Make Them Suffer's self-titled album. And I know that not that many people are going to agree with that based on what's been chatted about, but I fucking love their sound. Google's talking to me. I absolutely love their sound. So
Steve,
I consider that to be an album. That's an album full of bangers for me. It's like every single song. And some of the criticism has been fired at them is like, well, their songs are kind of similar. But actually, for me, any song starts, I know exactly which song it is, where it is in the album. Like, oh, fuck it, this one, I love this one. I have connected with those songs individually and over the course of the album. I think it's just pure heat from start to finish. And I love sitting that sound. And as I mentioned earlier in this chat, in the Imminence world of the Black, I didn't really like that sound, so I didn't want to sit in that sound for a whole album. But when it comes to Make Them Suffer, I like that sound. I'm happy for a full album to be like that. Yeah, I fucking loved it.
You were kind of smirking there, Drew.
Yeah, just we'll get into that. We still need to get to that point that I mentioned earlier, which is going to be funny to come around to.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see is all I'll say.
All right.
All right. Well, my number 3 is 156 Silence. People watching.
Ooh, good album.
It could have been my number 1, and I think it's deserving of number 1. I think it's one of the most refreshing metalcore records of the year. It's one of the most surprising because I've listened to some songs back in the day. I thought it was pretty good. But this album's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like this is way better than I expected. So I love the variety. I love how dark it is. I love the emo old school metalcore vibes to it. I think it's just a great record. Great album art too.
The best.
The best album art. Yeah.
We could have done that as well as a category. But yeah, I think we all would agree that's probably number 1.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me is Bring Me the Horizon Posthuman Next Gen. Again,
nice.
I don't love the album. Again, this is this weird thing. It's like, it's my number 3, but I'm putting it in there because the songs that I like on it are so strong that it's like, I don't really care how well the album flows. It's just the singles are so good that like there's enough of those really good singles for it to be like just memorable as an album for me. But the concept and everything in the flow of the album to me didn't flow as well as their last album. But and there's some misses in there for me as well. But yeah, I would put it at number 3.
Totally fair. And now that you both talked about that album, my Bring Me the Horizon pick, it's not in the top 5 for me. It is in 9th. I think it is a brilliant album. I loved listening to it. It is pushing the music forward, as they always seem to be able to do. But for the reasons you're saying, Drew, I find it challenging to listen to the whole album. It's kind of a lot to take in. It's very difficult in that way, but it's got so many big hits on it, and those hits are undeniably great. But as a total album listening experience,
Yeah.
a bit tricky, I think.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's why it's number 5 for me.
Yeah.
Grand.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we're on to our 2. So this is the one that's just missed out on the top album of the year.
Yeah.
For me, the shocking thing was that this was as high as it was. When I first listened to this album, I gave it a solid. I didn't really dig it. I did dig it in some ways, but I found it difficult and challenging.
I know what it is.
But it just grows on me, and it's getting into my absolute nervous system, and I can't shake it, and I can't get enough of it, and I think it is fucking genius. And 156 Silence's album, People Watching, is my number 2 of the year. And what's funny about this is Drew and I, after we first heard it, DM'd each other in Discord, like, what do you think of the album? It's like, yeah, I didn't really like it. I thought it was solid, but not amazing. Yeah, me too. I didn't really. And now I'm just like, it's one of the best albums of the year. And Drew's like, why would you no, join me on my branch. We had a thing.
Yeah, I've not gone
But
back
I
to it
think
much, but
it's
yeah, I hear you on
fucking amazing album.
So you guys have your own little side chat talking about like, oh wait, you heard about Burb liking 156 Silence? That album shit.
That's not how that went down.
No, it's not.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
But yeah, I loved that album. And what's also interesting about this is I thought it was solid. It's like, it's cool. I love Better Written Villain. Grant. I could enjoy that song and a couple others. Character Development really enjoyed. But because I had an interview with them, I was like, well, let me listen to the album another couple of times so I can form some good questions. Because I listened to it a couple more times, it had more time to grow on me. And that's what got it to the place where it is now. Like without that interview, I don't think this would have happened because of it needed more listens for me to properly make sense and to grow. And it's weird when albums can do that. Like one of my favorite bands of all time is Reuben. And when I first heard their album Race Car is Backwards, I was like, I don't know. I'm disappointed. I don't really get it. Now it's one of my favorite albums of all time. Weird that can happen.
It was almost my album of the year, and I just it still could be. Like I fucking love that record. I listened to it so much ever since it came out. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's genius.
Mm-hmm.
Can we guess Burb's number 2? Steve, can you?
Sure.
I want to see if I can guess it.
I don't
Go
know
for
his
it.
taste well enough.
What's left? I think Boundaries is going to be in there somewhere. I think you have to have Boundaries at 1 or 2.
Shit.
It's going to be Boundaries and Knock Loose, I think, have to be in there. But then again, I'm just looking at like my list and seeing what Linkin Park as well. You were high on the Linkin Park stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that tells me
I'm gonna go
Linkin Park's in
Imminence.
there.
Imminence. So I will say this. People like have me as like the prog guy online, and like I don't know if that's true because my Spotify Wrapped was the perfect to show like the home team and all this other stuff. So I don't know if that's necessarily true. Like I feel like my music taste is everywhere. I actually this is really stupid. I was helping I was using ChatGPT to form my numbers and ranking it, like, or not ranking it, but I mean like helping my selection by giving me numbers and listing it. And then after I put my list together, like, what do you think of my list, ChatGPT? It's like, oh, well, it's very diverse. You have all these different genres and stuff. It's I'm like, thank you.
Wait, how were you? I'm so curious how you were using ChatGPT to order your list.
No, I was using it to check for duplicates. I'm like, use it for duplicates,
okay,
use it,
enough.
And stuff like that. And like, also I need 100 to number 1 and 50 to number 1, all these other things.
Okay, do you know what? I'm going to lock in. Steve's number 1 album of the year is Bill Murray, and Burb's is also Bill Murray, and his number 2 is Linkin Park.
Oh, he's already said Bill Murray, didn't you? Didn't you already say it?
Bill Murray's my number 4.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Ignore me. Never mind. Steve's is
Are
definitely
you
Bill
listening,
Murray.
Drew? No.
You said my Linkin Park is number 2, and what?
I
said
forgot you
Imminence.
mentioned Bill Murray was already from 4, so it's not number 1. So
Well, I'm
Linkin
just going
Park's
to
gotta be 1 or 2. Just go.
Okay, well, you guys are so predictable. Drew's going to be alt, and Steve is going to be Bill Murray. So my number 2 is Calandra, Frame of Mind.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, it snuck up there. I literally just listened to it, and it's every song's a fucking journey, man. It's funny because Tundra, who's part of our Discords, mentioned that we share the same opinion, where around track 9 and 10 it does lose a little bit of its punch, I think, a little bit, but like tracks 1 to 8 are fucking awesome.
It's a great pick. Calandra are amazing. The Line is a better album, though, in my opinion. Their previous album, but I'm not mad at that pick. Calandra in any top 5 is great.
Yeah, I've heard the lines better, but I really like A Frame of Mind. I love the darker.
Yeah, I think for you
proggier
maybe
feel.
it might be, but I think like just as a music lover, you'll fucking love the line, regardless of whether or not it appeals too much to like the proggier side of things. It's a fucking like throw that song on, go on throw that album on, and just go on a drive somewhere beautiful and just
Oh
amazing.
yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, don't
I
even
believe
react to
you.
it, man. Just throw it on and enjoy the moment. It's
I
such a
know.
fucking
Then I'm like,
gorgeous album.
what if this is good
Yeah,
content, right? You know, you always
go on a
have
drive
that
with your
dilemma.
camera and have a real like one of those fly on the wall videos. I like really enjoy
Yeah,
watching those like different style reaction videos. But yeah,
yeah,
just you gotta listen to it for sure, regardless of how you do it.
fair. All right, Drew, your turn.
Number two, this is so up in the air right now, but I'm gonna go with not Aquila, From the New Worlds. I'm just looking at my playlist for songs here. It's Alt From the New Worlds. It's
Okay.
such a toss up. I think the reason it falls short of my number one spot right now is because similar to a lot of the reasons why I don't end up loving albums or like being alt is when the singles are so strong and then the non-singles feel like they kind of let it down a little bit. I don't mind the argument that it's like sonically quite the same across the board, because for me, I think the whole like album artwork and the theme of the album is definitely playing into something like Humanity's Last Breath, where it's like this end of the world, everything is resetting. So to me, I kind of like the sonic appeal to it being quite samey across the board. So yeah, I think they do a really good job with the theme of it being like an end of the world. So I don't really mind it being like that. But yeah, it just the non-singles didn't sell me as much as I was sold on the singles. So that's why it falls into number two. But I'm still like so unsure of my number like 1 to 3. But we'll get into it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Great album. Fucking great album. Yes. My number one album of the year is the least shocking thing in the world. It is American Motorsports, Bill Murray. I love every song on that. It is, heavy pop, which I absolutely adore. It's really good songwriting. It's just beautiful. I've listened to it so many times and I'm still just not getting sick of it. That for me is also a defining album of 2024. I think Bill Murray going from relative obscurity to something that's quite well known within the rock scene is a major thing. Not dissimilar from what Sleep Token, not the same extent, but what Sleep Token did in 2023 when they completely rocketed upwards. Bill Murray's been doing that, and because the music's really good, it's that simple for me.
Yep.
Yeah. Great pick.
I've heard like old Bill Murray over the years and like it's all right. And then the new album, I'm like, this is when Better Hell came out, man, I'm like, whoa, I love this. And then the new album's all that, like, yeah. But my number one is I think it's a lot of people's album of the year, but like it's not anything that's really moving the needle. It's nothing crazy like that, but it's just a record that is very digestible. Like I just keep going back to it. Like I love a lot of the songs on it. It just has so much replayability. It's so aggressive. It's so intense. Boundaries, Death is a little more. It's just classic metalcore. It's so fucking angry. Like it, and some of the call outs are like literally like goosebumps. Like, oh man, and like the way that he like screams is just like, I don't know. I really love the riffs and the energy and the aggressiveness. It's a fucking great record.
Nice. It's very intense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drew,
One of the call outs of the year for sure. The was it the and I am the devil, boom 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 boom, like that's just so stupidly heavy. It's so good.
The world is evil and I am the devil.
Yeah,
like that's such a cool.
And I am the devil.
That's
It's just like
that's such a cool line. Like I don't know, in other metalcore bands, it's like, like
well,
sorry, Orion, but that's all they got. And then,
but you know what the thing is that like it's not even the way he calls it out. It's like it's so primal the way he says it.
Yeah,
it's not even like a bleh. It's like he's almost like just retching after the actual like breakdown. It's like it's so like
I think that's why I like it. It's one of the most authentic sounding records. It's just like pure metalcore riffs and like such raw aggressive vocals that actually sound like he's like a lot of the lyrics too seem very like cathartic for him. Like it's such a fucking powerful listen.
Yeah,
but like it's not like anything crazy innovative or different. I just love the sound of it. That's all.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair points. Drew, you're number one.
Speaking of not being like crazy innovative or anything different, such seems to be the case with a lot of my albums for my top 5. I mean, I don't know if it's obvious based on the little smirks and stuff I've been doing, but I really didn't have this album as my number one. It is, of course, Imminence the Black. I didn't have it for so long. And then I looked through my actual... I think that's one of the best starts to an album, or just one of the most consistent albums I've heard in so long. Again, it's not like the most groundbreaking songs in the world. It has a lot of tropes that it can sound quite samey, of course. Like it's in the same like tonal bracket for a lot of the album. But like we look at track number 1, Come Hell or High Water. I love that song. Desolation is such an amazing chorus. Heaven Shall Burn's great. Beyond the Pale, I really, really like that. I loved all the singles going in. And then I thought the non-singles actually surpassed that. So it was kind of like opposite to a lot of like for Alt, for example. I loved the singles. And then I didn't really love the non-singles. But when I look at like the tracks, I've liked every single song on the album. I've added it to my playlist, apart from the like interludes towards the end, which, you know, I'm not going to like the interlude tracks. I'm not going to add it to a playlist. So it's pretty much a clean sweep in terms of like tracks I go back and listen to. I think the second part of the album cleans up in terms of just how beautiful it is. Like Continuum, The Black, Come What May, like those tracks I think are Imminence at their best.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely argument for like the first 6 songs, although they're fun songs and they are really good. But I think they're kind of like Imminence being a little bit more, like we were discussing earlier, where they have so much more potential. I don't think they're reaching that potential with those songs, but the latter part of the album I think is beautiful. Like the violin inclusion, amazing. I think Make Them Suffer, to me, like the Make Them Suffer album is for me what the Black is to Steve, if that makes sense. We're kind of like opposites in that way.
Yeah.
For me, I find like Imminence's use of emotion and stuff with the violin, I just find I love that. It feels like there's more of an emotional connection I can find, whereas Make Them Suffer just feels kind of like just we're just doing heavy and energetic stuff for the sake of it, which is fine as well. But I just feel like I don't really connect to it at all. Whereas with the Black, I just felt like there was some really beautiful moments across the board. So
It's fair enough.
Even the way it ends, Le Noir is one of the most beautiful songs.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
a fucking great album across the board, man. But again, I hate to preface it or like say it after all this, but I don't think I don't think this makes my top 10 last year. Or even, I don't know, maybe top 10 is dramatic, but I don't know if this makes my top 5. I'll definitely say 5. Don't know about 10. I'd have to see the list again. But I think
Possible to know.
2023 was so fucking good for albums. But yeah.
Well, there we are. Those are our best songs, EPs, bangers, albums of the year, and some disappointments along the way. I perhaps to round out, we could pick quickly what our biggest metal moment of the year was in the universe of metal. Not like a personal thing necessarily, but what do you think was a standout? This is a defining thing that happened this year in the world of metal. Burb, you look ready.
Well, I know this podcast is getting long, and I know it's you guys are getting a little tired.
Pretty late.
It's pretty late, but we could also do 2025 predictions too.
Yeah, my voice is
Oh
going,
my
but
God.
I'm down. Let's do it.
I
Last one of
know.
the year, lads.
So we could be a little bit faster with this one, but what was the biggest metal moment? Are you talking with our channel or in the scene?
No, in the universe of metal, not our channel.
It's gotta be Gojira.
Yeah, I already did that on my video, but I made a video. Gojira at the Olympics. It's like fucking monumental.
I agree. I totally agree. That is, I was thinking Knocked Loose being on live television, but no, this was global.
Yeah, it doesn't get bigger than the Olympics. It just doesn't. So, yeah, I think we can all agree on that.
How about biggest
All right,
moments for our channel then?
Well, this channel.
Not this channel, but each of our own channels.
I'll start with mine. I didn't have something until it's actually not even anything to do with the actual content itself, but 2 people, I'll give a shout out to them, Kate and Matthew, actually met each other in my Discord server, and they are now married.
Wow.
So that for me is like...
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was only brought up earlier as like a kind of a jokey thing or whatever in Steve's Discord, but like I just thought of that there and I was like, forget all the music. So for just the channel, as far as cool things go, like that's mental.
Huge.
So yeah, so that's for me the biggest moment for sure.
Jeez, no one could beat that.
Yeah, I've kind of fucked everything, haven't I? Like, sorry,
people
lads,
met and got married. I was saying to them as well, like, your firstborn used to be called Drew.
Yeah,
it's like,
for sure. Like, yeah,
whatever the gender, Drew.
Yeah, but then they're like, no, maybe we'll settle with the pet. And I was like, all right, well I'll be the dog then. Cheers.
My moment's got to be meeting Johnny Frank and Bill Murray for the interview that I got to do with him before the Sleep Token gig. That was completely mind bending as an experience. And he was such a lovely dude. We had a great chat about the band and all the little details in there. That was an amazing moment that I couldn't really believe managed to come together. Yeah, that was the biggest of my channel, I think.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys in terms of like the Discord community is like fucking wild. People are meeting in real life and then meeting bands in real life. It's crazy putting yourself out there online and what can happen. So I will say probably meeting Mike Strainer of Spiritbox, or actually him hitting me up on Instagram, just like, hey friend, want to come to a show? I'm just like, oh,
That's so cool.
And then like it was for fucking Gojira and Korn out of all shows. Like, oh my god, yes. So that was awesome. So yeah, no, again, it's cool the connections that you can make.
Yeah.
Good
Actually,
year.
Just on that, it's the content wise. Like again, I keep forgetting that this podcast was born this year. That for me, I think content wise is probably the biggest thing for me. Like this is one of the most enjoyable things I've done content wise in the metal space.
Yes,
is this just how this was brought to fruition? You know, amazing.
Cool.
For people that are listening, the YouTube stuff, like when you're doing this solo and it's your full-time job, this shit can get boring and it can get even fucking lonely. So like the fact that we have this podcast together, like let's go boys, let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, this is
lovely.
Yeah, so this is a big communal hug between the three lads and you lot watching.
All of you, so. You're all invited. Yeah,
yes,
all
yes. Come on in.
So then,
okay, I've ruined it. Let's keep going. Sorry.
Steve's
2025. I'm so like I've also got a message from the wife being like it's bedtime. Like, God, she's not wrong. So 2025 just around the corner. What is your prediction for 2025 in terms of the world of metal? What are you hoping for or expecting from the year ahead?
It's going to be stacked. We're going to have Loathe and Sleep Token dropping music. I just
Sleep
know
Token's going to be big.
So yeah, it's going to be a great year for UK metal.
Architects dropping as well. That'll be fun to watch unfold.
Spiritbox is dropping an album too. Like we are in for a great 2025.
Yes. I'm trying to think. There'll be loads of things that float into my head after this, but who else are we expecting from?
You know, it's similarly just to discover the bands that are in a post-Sleep Token world and what they incorporate in their new sound. I'm looking forward to some bands incorporating things from the country rock stuff that's been happening and being cool in the metal scene. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah. Event Anime could drop something too. Like, and all the bands have been quiet this year. I feel like 2025 this was a setup year. 2024 was a setup year. 2025 is going to be nutty. That's how I'm seeing it.
I love this year though. I mean, again, for me, Bill Murray was phenomenal. So
Bill Murray's great. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, still good music, but like, I just feel like 2025 is going to be nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot wait for the new music that we can discover in the new year, but also the conversations we can have about it, chatting to each other, but things we agree on and the things we don't agree on as well. It's all really interesting and civilly done here in the metal.
Shut up, Steve.
Fuck yourself. Sure.
Well,
thanks, folks. I've had a lovely chat here. It's been a wonderful year. I'm looking forward to year 2 of this Roundup thing. And if you haven't subscribed by this point, I mean, you're an hour 40 plus into this.
Yeah.
It's free. It costs nothing. Hit the subscribe button. It's very simple. Leave us a comment.
Together,
I'd love
bro.
to chat
Just
to you.
click it, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, have a lovely, happy new year, folks. And we'll see you in 2025.
Cheers, lads. Oh, what a way to go out.